Well, good morning, everybody. Before I forget, just Matthew 27, Mark 15 is what we're reading through today. A beautiful, snowy morning. Yeah. So I'm doing this before I have to go out and do the shoveling. Um, it's really hard for me to write anything concerning the crucifixion of Jesus because it just seems, I don't know, it's something I have to get over because this is something to be celebrated. Um, but it's just it's sad to think that we put him through this, that he had to go through this in order to rescue us. So yeah, we're being interrupted in the recording from time to time here. That's why I did it outside all the other times. Busy house. The thing that really stood out for me, and there's a lot of details here, there's a lot of things, and you've heard a lot of sermons on a lot of stuff, but what really stands out for me is the relational things. And we have this Joseph. Joseph, the one who buried Jesus, the one who went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. He's a member of the Jewish council. Well respected is what we're told. Well respected, a member of the Jewish council, and he was a follower of Jesus. Probably not an out there follower of Jesus, but an admirer of Jesus. And this is what amazes me. We read this too quickly. We read it too quickly. We don't try to understand the reality of it. But there was a whole bunch of people that were putting their hope in Jesus Christ. They had a certain way of thinking of the Messiah. They have had that for a very long time, and they're thinking of the Messiah in a certain way, that he's going to do certain things. And here he ends up on the cross. I mean, can you try to imagine the disappointment? Can you imagine the confusion that is all about this? They're expecting a triumphant king to come in and rescue them from the Romans. And this is our problem, is that we're small thinkers. We think on such a small way, and we try to reduce our God down to the smallness of our thinking. Whereas our Father was concerned about all of eternity. He's concerned about the bringing in of his kingdom in a major way, not just for Israel, but for the entire world. Just universal thinking here, like beyond anything that we can really comprehend. And so these people are picturing the Messiah coming in, rescuing them from the Romans, and here he ends up on the cross. So my question is, why would Joseph have hung around? If he was disappointed, if he was confused, if he was facing disillusionment here in the whole message of Jesus Christ, on the whole expectation, if his expectation just isn't met, why is he hanging around? Why at this point is he making it known that he's a follower of Jesus Christ? Why not just walk away? His reputation is intact. Nobody really knows. And just let the dead bury the dead. But no, he goes, he speaks to Pilate. He makes the arrangements. He uses his tomb. This is a public statement. This is a public statement. I love this man. I support this man. And why did the women hang around? Why didn't the disciples skip the country? Why are they still attached to Jesus Christ? When a leader falls, the followers tend to scatter. And we know that the disciples didn't go anywhere. They gathered in. They sought comfort from each other. The women gathered. Nobody was going anywhere. Nobody was running away. And someone like Joseph just sticks his neck out and provides a burial place for Jesus. Why is it that you're still here? You can't tell me you haven't faced disappointment. You can't tell me that you didn't have certain expectations and those expectations weren't matched. And quite often the reason our expectations aren't matched is because our Father's working on a bigger plan. But regardless, there's still expectations that aren't matched. There's still this sense of failure in some things. Why are you still here? I think Peter really sums it up when Jesus turned around and he lost almost all of his disciples when he said, listen, you have to eat my flesh and you have to drink my blood. And people were just like, oh, that's gross, I'm out of here. And Jesus turned to his disciples and said, and what about you? And Peter said, well, Lord, where would we go? Like, in you there's life. And I think many of us are there, and perhaps Joseph was there, that regardless of whether our small thinking expectations aren't met because the bigger plan is more glorious than our small thinking, still, when we experience the love that we find in Jesus Christ, when we've tasted that, when we've tasted the life, we can let go of the disappointments of our expectations. There are many who walk away. There are those who walk away. There are those who just say, I don't believe, and walk away. And people would say, well, they didn't really know Jesus. Well, maybe they didn't go as far as they should have with Jesus. Maybe that expectation or that disappointment was just so great that they weren't willing to hold on to the hope that we find in Jesus Christ. Maybe they didn't really plumb the depths of that relationship. And we know in speaking of the different soils that there is a soil where this soil was just shallow and underneath of it was hard rock, and so the roots couldn't go down deep. And maybe that's where some people are, even if they've been preaching for 20 years, they just haven't gone any deeper than the surface stuff. Man, I know how long it took me to get to the place where I went after the deeper things, and it was a long time, because I was just surviving, and I was just making it and coping from day to day, and not understanding the depth of his love, the depth of his devotion, the depth of his compassion and grace. And when I started plumbing that depth, man, no expectation could ever, no unmet expectation could ever knock me off of the path that I'm on. There's nothing that would ever make me deny Jesus Christ. And so I look at Joseph and I can relate to this. I can relate to him. Man, even if I don't understand, I'd rather hold on to Jesus. I'd rather hold on to Jesus. Even if I don't understand what's going on right now, I just know that what I've experienced with him is a greater reality than this place. And I would not walk away from him. I couldn't walk away from him. I could never deny my love for him. I could never deny his love for me. And there are just times that I have to understand that being who he is, he knows so much more than me, and his plans are so much greater than my plans, and his desire for me is even greater than my desire for myself. And I have to trust that. That's what faith is. I have to trust that. I put my faith in him. I put my trust in him. I put my hope in him. I will follow him no matter what. Even in the confusion, I would just hold on to him. Even if I don't know whether to turn right or left or go straight ahead, I'll just hold on to him. And that's where I think Joseph was at this time. He didn't know what to do. He just needed to express his love. And his way of expressing his love was to be responsible for Jesus' body, to provide him that tomb, that place of great victory. Man, it was a borrowed tomb, but he provided the place of the greatest victory, the place where the tomb will be broken. And it's amazing that this was provided in such a place of faith and trust and devotion and dedication. And I don't think we note that very much about Joseph, and that this is where he made his stand. Man, isn't that amazing? In life, he did not make it known, but in death, he made his stand. With Jesus, I stand, is what he's saying here. I don't care what the rest of the leadership does. You guys plotted against him. I don't care what you have to say. Today, I stand with Jesus. Can you do that today? Can you, no matter what your disappointments have been, can you just say, Lord, I trust you. Lord, you've got me. I trust you. Today I stand. Today I stand with you. That's what we need to do. Anyway, okay. So, gonna leave that there. Love you guys. Go all the way. Go the distance. You've gone this far. Don't throw it away now. Go the distance, because he is Lord, and we love him and we trust him. I'm off to shovel now. So you guys have a great day.